So what's that old saying about when you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me? Well, I assumed something and I made an ass out of me. I also lost about $20,000 in the process, which I'll explain in a second. But check it out. I just got some bookcases built in yesterday. What do you think? Look amazing, except for the fact that they had to cut my wall right there. They've got to come in, and today they're going to actually patch that and then paint it. But seriously, check it out. Sexy, right? Got some art lights up top. I'm about to have the designer come in and help me decorate it. I've got some cool things from my office I'm bringing over. This is my office at home for those of you who didn't know where we are. Anyway, here's the deal. I want to give you a little bit of an update. The first update is on that lot next door that I was going to make into like this awesome like garden area with garden boxes and a greenhouse and all sorts of awesome stuff, right? You guys saw the video that I posted a few weeks ago talking about it, right? And I was really excited about it. I was so excited, in the way that I am, I just go for it, right? I'm like, okay, this sounds good. And my assumption was that it was no big deal, because all I was doing was basically taking a vacant lot. I wasn't building a house or anything like that. I was simply going to be putting some garden boxes. Yeah, they were going to be a little bit next level in terms of the garden boxes. They were going to be made out of like stone and like limestone with like a cap, made out of block. I had to pour footers for them because they were a little bit more substantial. I was gonna have about 7 of those. So I was gonna have about 7 garden boxes, right? Also some nice trails, lots of landscaping up front here, right? It was gonna be like a parking pad. I was gonna basically make it out of like pea gravel. So it just kind of had a really like rustic Martha Stewart, you know, like vibe. Like that was kind of like the goal. I also was gonna do a giant greenhouse. And by giant, I mean it was like 20 feet. And so I ordered the greenhouse. I told my buddy Ben, who's my landscaper, I said, let's do it. And he goes, really? Right now? I said, yes. What are we waiting for? Because summer, it's gonna be here. I wanna have my wife plant all sorts of vegetables. I want a garden. I want it to look amazing, because my house is right there. This is the lot right here. My old house is right there. And so this is kind of like a little bit of an eyesore. And I'm just tired of looking at a gravel lot when I'm at my wherever in my house. Anyway, so the deal is we started and we had all the block basically delivered, and we had some people here that were laying it all out. I had my landscape architect do a whole plan. It cost me around $7,000 for the plan. I know, landscape architects are expensive. This whole project for redoing this lot was gonna be around like $250,000. It wasn't gonna be cheap. Landscaping is expensive, but in my opinion, landscaping really makes or breaks a property. We also are gonna be doing some stuff behind the house right there. We're gonna remove all the sod. We're gonna make that more of like pea gravel. We're gonna plant some crepe myrtle trees, string some bistro lights, and just make it a really like, kind of like peaceful, amazing, just kind of tranquil space. I love being outside and I love landscaping. So anyway, I tell my landscaper, I said, all right, here's the plans, everything's ready, let's rock. He's like, all right, let's do this. And so we started laying everything out. And we started actually making the garden boxes. We got about 5 of the garden boxes done. There, right there, that pile of concrete, that's the stuff that we actually had to tear up. So here's how it went. We start working, and right away I was like, all right, it's gonna look good. But I live on a pretty busy road and it gets a lot of traffic. And so I knew that it wasn't gonna like fly under the radar of anybody that I was doing something. And because we were bringing in concrete and we were digging footers and we were pouring footers, and because we have all this like concrete block, I knew people were gonna be like, what is he building, right? And my thought was, well, it's a vacant lot. Who cares? I'm building some garden boxes, no big deal. Apparently it was a big deal. And so we got done, I think it was like 5 garden boxes, the footers and the blocks all done. And all of a sudden I look out there one day and there's a city official. And I'm like, this isn't good. Anytime you see like a city vehicle pull up to your property, you know it's not amazing. I'm like, uh-oh, what's the problem? And he's like, you actually have one of these garden boxes over top of a sewer pipe that's running diagonally back that way. And I knew that it was running back that way, but I didn't think it was any big deal because, you know, you can do little things over top of pipes, but apparently I wasn't able to do that. And so at that point, I'm like, uh-oh. That's a problem. And so I'm like, okay, so if I just remove this garden box right here, then we're good. He goes, yeah, for us, we're good. And so I'm like, okay. So I called my landscaper and I said, hey, remove that one garden box. But at this point, I said, wait a second. I need to figure out if what we're planning on doing is going to be okay, because right now I've started to spend some money, and if I end up having to like tear everything down, it's literally going to be like a really big deal, and it's going to be a lot of money. And so I call my buddy at the city and I say, hey, I got a plan. I got some things I want to talk to you about. Would you mind coming by the lot tomorrow and actually discussing everything? And he said, sure. And so next morning I met him, and everything I was doing was technically illegal, because I assumed that it was okay to do what I wanted if I wasn't building like a house or a structure or running like, electric. I assumed that it was going to be okay. That's where the problem arises. Little learning lesson. Before you do anything that you think is going to be okay, you need to check to make sure it's actually okay. And so what I ended up finding out after talking to him is you can't build anything on something that is classified as a vacant lot without a primary structure. And the whole reason behind that is they don't want somebody buying what is called or classified as a vacant lot, in a city or a school district, and then coming and putting like a shed on there and a generator and living there, right? They want you to build a primary structure. And so what I ended up having to do was basically tear everything out that I was working on and actually call the surveyor. What I have to do is join this lot to that lot and make it one big property. I can't leave this as a lot. But when I join it, because I'm gonna have a primary structure, my house, then I can do what I wanna do here, but not exactly like I wanted to do. I can't do pea gravel right here. You can't park on pea gravel, apparently. I've gotta do a poured concrete driveway or pad right here. I also can't place the garden boxes back where I had them because of the drainage and the pipes back there. And so I had to get a new survey. We had to submit it to the city. That has been submitted. It was rejected the first time because they wanted us to change a few things. So we resubmitted it, which I'm assuming now will get approved. I also then had to get a new topography plan for this lot showing the incline and the grade and all that good stuff, and then send it to my landscape architect to do it again. So I basically wasted the money having it done the first time because I didn't know that I wasn't able to actually put something over top of a pipe that's a storm drain or a sewer line. So in a nutshell, I have to start over. And in the process, I've wasted about $20,000 in the time and the labor and the material that we had to tear up, that we were working here. The landscape architect, the landscaper, like it was an expensive mistake. And I've got to wait. I've got to wait to have the plans redone, which they're in process now. And once they're done, then we need to submit everything to the city for permitting, which was something else that I didn't know that I need to do, and that's get permitting for anything here, any type of structure, including my greenhouse, which is actually at my warehouse. So in a nutshell, I've got nobody to blame but myself. I taught myself another valuable lesson, something that I knew, but I'm like, I'm good. Apparently, I'm not good. And the lesson, once again, I've got to learn everything the hard way. That's just the type of person and entrepreneur I am. That is one of the reasons why I started the White Label Empires, because I want to help people not be like me and help them avoid some of the pitfalls and speed bumps that I have experienced over my career. If you guys want to join the White Label Empire, if you're interested in starting a business and doing something amazing with your life, I'm going to link to it down below. Get started. There are 2 different membership options. You can join one time, $397, or month to month, $97. Something that we're going to be talking about today, actually, on the live training, because that's something else that I do. Every single week on Thursdays, I actually am in there doing a live training. If you can't make it, no big deal. They're all recorded and posted later. But I'm in there for about an hour and a half talking about a business lesson that I've learned or something, or some type of insights that I want you guys to know, because the whole idea and premise behind that business is to give you the insights that I wish I had, or that I am learning along the way. Because, entrepreneurship, it is something that is not a straight line. You're gonna make a bunch of moves, you're gonna have to try a bunch of different things. Well, one of the things that I think I'm actually gonna talk about in the next video is something that has come back from the dead, and that is this bad boy, the Stubble Buddy. Do you guys remember the Stubble Buddy? This was one of my, what I consider business failures, because I got really excited about this, and then it we launched it, I did some creative. I thought I was gonna have like a viral video and that was gonna be like the thing. I thought this was gonna be like one of those like products that you could basically just advertise through this viral video or some type of top funnel content, and we were gonna sell like, you know, 1 million of them. And even if I'm making only a few bucks, if you sell 1 million of them and you're making $5, it's $5 million. I bought StubbleBuddy.com, I bought TheStubbleBuddy.com, I went and I trademarked everything. This is a great product. And basically, it's a product that you use to clean up. Actually, let me show you. Beards are sexy. What's not sexy is the mess it makes after you get done trimming. How you gonna fix it? Boom, the Buddy, baby. Just turn that bad boy on, and like magic, it cleans up all of your grooming mess. This is something every guy needs in his grooming arsenal. Well, that video that I just showed you went viral on TikTok, and we have exploded in terms of sales for the Stubble Buddy. And so in the next video, what I want to actually do is talk a little bit about kind of the learnings that I have learned through this business, because it was something that I was really excited about a few years ago. We tried it, it didn't work, but where we tried it and the timing was wrong. We brought it back and it's right. And so it's really exciting to see that we're doing something that we believed in at the time, but we just didn't have the timing right. And so I want to actually share with you the numbers. I want to break it down. I want to actually go over the things that we do and how we are growing this single product to be $1 million mover this year. The Stubble Buddy's badass. It's also amazing. If you guys want to check it out, I'm going to link to them down below if you want one. This bad boy is a product that I believe in. It's awesome. It's fun to use. And I'm just excited that other people are finally like realizing this product is awesome. Anyway, I'm going to link to this down below. But next week, I'm going to tell you about the Stubble Buddy's basically ascension to the top of the grooming food chain.